What's your name and your question, please?
Hi, I'm Brandy, and I was wondering what's your current favorite camera rig setups? And knowing that they're very expensive, do you recommend anything more beginner for people trying to start out?
Great question, great question. I'm going to hit the second part of your question first. I would always recommend your cell phone to start out. Most people, if you whip out your cell phone, it's probably got as good or better of a camera lens on it than, you know, this G7X here or that M2 or R6. Our cell phones today are fantastic, right? So I would definitely say start there. That being said, I've always been team G7X. I'm with ParaDJ. They also shoot on a G7X. They've got the Mark II. This is the Mark III, and it is Mark Trash. So do not buy this one. No, it's a good camera. It's just the focus is, yeah, the autofocus is horrible on it. Yeah. And Canon knows that, and you know they claim they're going to fix it with the next one. But that being said, it's a good lightweight camera. Like it'll fit in my pocket. You know, I can beat it up a little bit. It takes a good beating. So like for me, I told you earlier, I'm like 4 years old, right? So like I didn't need one of these nice big shiny R6s or something, and I'm gonna bang into a wall and mess up. But
we grew our channel with the G7X. I've had like 4 of them, and they're fantastic. They perform excellent in low light, better than this R6 does all day long. The built-in stabilization is some of the best that I've still used, and we do have it. And actually just started integrating it back into our setup and giving that to Elisa so she can go and use it. I love it. It's just the autofocus. That's the only problem with it. But
if you're gonna do,
and the G7X is a good priced camera too. Like when you're talking about, you know, these up here, the G7X is definitely on the lower end for pricing. I would recommend either waiting to see what the Mark IV looks like or doing the Mark II. The Mark II is a solid camera, right? It's a pretty good camera. They upgraded some things with the Mark III that you have to, you know, weigh out. But in general, the Mark III, the worst thing about it is its stabilization. But Tony, Jamie?
Yeah, I think somebody has it over here. I think if I was doing it again, the thing you want as well as image quality is you want people to be able to hear what you say. So I think the microphone is as important, but somebody's got a phone with the Rode connected, right? Or didn't I see somebody's camera set up here?
we did.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. So like the Ship Life, Jay from the Ship Life, he's got over 100,000 subscribers. He made all of his videos with an iPhone, and he edited most of his videos on an iPhone. So if you have an iPhone in your pocket today, you could go out there and start that. But the mic is important. Sound is important. People will click off your video if they cannot hear what you were talking about. And so a good wireless mic setup like those Rodes are less than $300. And if there's 2 of you, you can hook a receiver up to your phone. Each of you can have a microphone on you with a little wind muff on you, and you're good. You're like vlogging all over the place. People can hear you because at the end of the day, if you can't hear it, and then a tripod, right? If you really want to get some stability in your life, it's okay to set your phone down on a tripod and talk to your phone, because between shaky and bad audio, I think those are some of the things that people will click off the quickest. But there's a lot of forgiveness in the image if people can hear what you're saying. So for me, like if I was just starting today and I already owned an iPhone, I would get a good wireless mic. I would get some sort of selfie stick that had a tripod base on it, and I'd be off to the races. Right now, I film almost everything with just my iPhone for B-roll, and then I use my iPhone a lot for just if I'm going to stop and talk to the camera. I mean, most of the stuff I do, I'm talking head now, just in my studio, and I've got a nice camera for that. But when I'm out and about, I just don't like to be covered up with camera gear. You know, I don't want to lose the moment by. And I used to be like that. Like I used to try to I've got gimbals, you know, gathering dust and stuff like that. And it just, I never found it to be, it's back to friction for me. It added too much friction and it took away from my enjoyment of cruising. And I don't think I told a good story because I was too worried about, oh, did I get the exposure right? Or is this shot blown out? Or is this shaky? That kind of thing. Now I just like, let me just see if I can share the moment. But yeah, so if I was telling somebody new, I would start with the phone until it didn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
As long as you had good audio.
Yeah, I mean, just to expand on that or just agree with that, definitely. The sound is at least 50 to 60% as much importance as the audio. I mean, you could have the visual. You could have the best visual in the world, but if you can't hear it, you can't understand it, it's not good quality, it just kind of, it's all in vain, right? So, audio and visual quality. But like Tony, if I was starting out today, cell phone, because they're so much more advanced than when we started. And the stabilization is unbeatable. You don't even need a gimbal anymore. You can just take it and hold it with your hand and sweep it across the room, and it looks so smooth. I use this R6, and it's kind of on the big end. It just does such a great quality, but I had gimbals for it and all these other things hanging off of it. I've eliminated those because I just stop and be still and film Elisa or turn around on me and take the shaky out of it just by being still, So again, I'll adjust the way we vlog so that we take the shaky out, But yeah.
I just want to say no shade against the big camera. So I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just saying along the way, don't let the gear get in your way of creating, right?
Yes, it can.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, and me personally, I would rather look for new gear for 2 hours on Amazon than to take my journal out and make ideas for 2 hours. But the thing, if you're really interested in being a creator, the thing that's going to give you more advantage is not the 2 hours looking for gear on Amazon. It's going to be the 2 hours of ideation, of coming up with something interesting that people want to see. Because that's the thing. It's a mix of you'll see some beautiful stuff, but then after a while, it's like, well, if there's no interesting thing to go with it, content-wise or story-wise, something like that, you're like, okay, it's another interesting shot. You know what I'm saying? And so I think you gotta. That's what I didn't realize at the beginning. I thought, man, I'm just gonna learn how to make really good films, and I kind of lost the idea that I had to make something that was entertaining. And so it's whatever gets you creating the quickest, but you gotta have both sides of the coin. What's gonna be interesting to people, and then how does it sound okay and look okay?
I don't have much to add to that. But we were talking about sound and how important the sound is. And I'm just sitting here thinking, yesterday afternoon during the huge get-together out on the back deck, I grabbed my camera and wanted to do a quick live stream so people at home could see what was going on. So I grab it and I put on a wireless mic, popping on my sweatshirt. I start running around, and then this morning I'm looking at comments. It's like, couldn't hear anything. The microphone kept hitting. So paying attention to the sound is so important.
Yeah.
So this video that I made, and now I know that my mic was banging against my neck a little bit, and you couldn't hear much, and I didn't put a little wind muff on it because I was trying so quick to just catch everything in the moment. And then it turned out, looking back, if I would have just taken an extra 10 minutes to set up and paid a little more attention, then maybe that video would be a lot better. So even somebody who makes a lot of videos or goes live a lot, hey, you can lose yourself in the moment and do something. And now I'm looking back like, dang, I really wish that I would have paid a little more attention. So, I guess that goes to show that, hey, if you screw something up, don't beat yourself up too bad over it.
Sure.
But at the same time, take a little more time, make sure that your sound's good, because that makes all the difference in the world.
That's right. If you want to know how important audio is, just go back to the early years of EECC Travel.
Or all of us.
All right, all of us. Yes. And our very first videos were shot with a Hero GoPro. Remember the very first Hero?
Yeah.
In the waterproof container. Yeah, that's how technical savvy Jason was. Let's just shoot with that. It's great footage, man. It's gonna be great. And also don't forget to wipe the lens off after you eat.
Let's pull this up.
Oh, it's terrible. Audio is so very important. We learned the hard way.
That's right. That was a great question.